Hello, welcome to Bubbles and Breakdowns, a space designed for you to show up as your beautifully imperfect self, where we dive into the good, the bad, and the bubbly. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Katrina. Oh,
Happy 1
my
year!
goodness. It has been a whole year. We started Bubbles and Breakdowns 52 weeks ago, and today is our 52nd episode. So, Ashley, first of all, just like a pause, we made it a whole year amidst all of our priorities. It's amazing.
Can I tell you, this is probably the longest I've ever committed to something besides my marriage.
I was going to say, what about Brad?
But you know what? Every week for a year, we've released an episode.
It has been a commitment, and it's been a passion project, definitely a work of love, a work in progress. And today we're going to hit that pause button and look back onto this very first year of Bubbles and Breakdowns. So here we are, 52 episodes later. We're going to reflect on where we started, the conversations that hit home, and how much we've grown in the process. And yes, spoiler alert, season 2 is officially happening, but before we rush into that next chapter, we wanted to take an intentional moment to celebrate how far we've come and focus on what mattered most. So grab a glass to toast to our first year and join us for a trip down memory lane. And let us know, guys, what made the biggest imprint on you this last year with Bubbles and Breakdowns? We'd love to hear from you.
Love it.
Oh, I can't believe it, Ashley. We set out on this, and I remember being like, we have to make it, a whole year. And I'm not kidding. It was one of the hardest things I think I've ever done personally.
That's what I'm saying. To do this every single week. Well, we recorded sometimes in groups, right? But to release something every week, to do social every week, to do everything, is a lot of work.
And all we knew, going into this was really, hey, this is a hard time of life. There's a lot of things that are on our minds, on our hearts, especially as we're coming into age of becoming mothers. And who are we? What's our new identity? And for me, I think the word, that came to mind as I was reflecting on what has this last year meant to me, it has been therapeutic. And what I mean by that is you've become this space that we've kind of created, this bubble, no pun intended, that we can talk about things that we may not talk about with anybody else. And I've really genuinely appreciated this space. And I hope that we've been able to impart some kind of, helping people feel seen along the way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And, I think as we start to come up with topics, it's just really kind of what we're feeling in the moment and what we're thinking. And it just, I think, serves for a very good conversation, right? Where we can have people join in and listen to what we think and hopefully maybe replay that in their own minds to know that we're all kind of in the same space and struggling or surviving or thriving, depending on what's going on.
And as we move into season 2, our hope is really that we're going to continue to evolve, that we're going to impart the little trickles of wisdom that each of us gain going through life in our 40s and really start to focus on what matters to us in this next season. So I don't know, we can look back at this in a couple ways. I think the way we chose to do it today was to focus on maybe some of our core topics and talk about them a little bit. So the first, repeating kind of theme, which is no surprise given where we are, right, Ashley, was this midlife messiness and all that comes with this middle third that we've now coined it.
Seriously. And it is messy.
It's so messy. Let's paint the picture for today. I'll start. I literally finished work, picked up my kids, took them to swimming, went to McDonald's. The food was taking forever, ate chicken strips in the car ride back home, fed the dog, cleaned up a little bit, came down here, and I'm like, where am I? This day is a blur. And to get it all in, it just is more and more difficult with everything on our plate.
And you have to do bedtime still.
Oh, whoop-de-doo. Can't wait.
It's the days never end, right? And I think
they never end.
How we coined it, right? This midlife messiness of just this midlife messiness of this jumble of responsibilities and passions and finding ourselves is just it is messy. It is so messy. And I feel like we've had so many good conversations this year too about friendships. I like one of my favorite episodes looking back was really friendships, friends for a reason or friends for a season. Early on, that was one of our first episodes. And there were so many people that reached out that were thank you. Like we've been
Right.
seeing so many like navigating friendships and sometimes they're over and that's okay and they serve us a purpose. But I think that was a really great way to start off our season and like laying that blueprint of like this is kind of how we're going to have our episodes. I don't know, that was one of my favorites that I can recall.
There was also the significance around you and I and our friendship and how it formed and
Right.
how, you kind of go through life and you think kind of your friends are set. And we were a testament to that's not the case. You have to remain open and flexible. And as you change as a person, we could have new friendships all the time. And it's like an ever evolving thing versus that static thing that we thought it once was, which I thought was
Totally.
really a great conversation. One thing that hit home, not just like in the topics, but like physically, was all this shift in hormones and perimenopause, like midlife messiness. It's like, yes, parenting's hard, but like throw that receding hormone thing on the books too, and all of a sudden we're just dealing with little sleep, not restful sleep, achy joints, hair falling out, like
I
can't have a
literally, as
glass
we
of
were
wine without
joining,
a
I was like,
hangover.
I have to do this weird bun because my hair is coming out in clumps. And I'm like,
I
it's
know.
either inflammation or hormonal shifts or who knows. But you're right.
Yeah.
It's such a topic too that I feel like there's so much out there that it's hard to start figuring out where to start.
It's so much noise right now in this
So
space.
much noise. And it's like so many products, right? And so many things that people are going to think is going to be an easy fix. It's just like, where do you start?
And I think like one question I had for us was like, what surprised us most about we were as we were navigating this middle third? What was something that like maybe caught you off guard? And what like how we were sharing it out in the open on this podcast. And one thing that stood out was, oh my gosh, am I like that big of a complainer? I sound whiny. Like there's just so many things that I was like, oh, I don't feel good or oh. And the fact of the matter is because I really didn't. And I was going through a lot of physical changes and it was really, really difficult. I don't know if something surprised you, but
Yeah, no, I think the thing that's not surprised me, but I think just like looking back and listening was that a lot of people could relate. And I think I already mentioned that with the reasons or seasons, but listen back and hear myself and I'm like, oh my God, why didn't this girl tell me this earlier? And I'm like, it's yourself talking it out
right.
with a friend. Like we had the knowledge.
Right.
So I think it just like goes back to my original statement that like these conversations have held a very special place in my heart to help kind of leverage or level up or bring like mindfulness to things we're going through.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's
couldn't
like a
agree more.
humble brag or like or what, but
No.
it's kind of like one of those like epiphanies that like, oh shit. Okay, we kind of know what's going
Yeah.
on. We just got to like figure it out.
Figure it out and I think talk about it. And I think that's the biggest thing is that hopefully by talking about it and listening out there is that you saw yourself in one of us or you felt like very understood and just kind of naming things and putting words behind it is just so powerful, and yeah, I've really cherished that space for us, but also I really do at the end of it all hope that if you haven't listened to some of those episodes and you are thinking to yourself, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I am kind of in a similar situation. Please look through the archives. There's a number of them. I want to say at least 5 that,
At least
and maybe
52.
all of them, that we really touch on some element of that part of our
Yeah,
lives.
totally.
And it's been really, like I said, therapeutic. And so hopefully, if you haven't listened, go back and check some out. So the next kind of like big one, and this hits both of us, is this idea of self-love and boundary setting. And I put those together and that was my biggest aha, is that like setting boundaries is a form of self-love. And I was like, when
Totally.
that connected for me, I thought to myself, I am justified in my boundaries. Like that's felt so good to me.
And I think too, one thing that kind of clicked for me with boundaries in general, it's like, it's not for the other person, it's for you. Like, I feel like
Yes.
I'm very the opposite of self-love, even in the way I set boundaries. By me just saying like, oh, the boundary's not up for them, it's for me. Like just even discovering that, I know that sounds so like almost dumb.
I know
But
it's
it's,
like
you know what,
easy to
it's,
think.
yeah, but it's like an aha moment to be like, I am doing this for myself. To have that power and take that, that was something too that like having those conversations, I felt empowered to think about things harder, think about
Yes.
things more deeper, right? And
Right.
feel actually deeper about like, what do I want in my life? And how am I self-sabotaging by not setting these boundaries, right? To have maybe more of my like open wounds
Mm-hmm.
out in the universe, if that even makes
It
sense.
does. It does because there is this like really vulnerable part of saying, if you take that people pleasing tendency away and you start kind of really thinking about more of yourself, it feels selfish at first. And then also to kind of like show you're ugly, like,
Mm,
yeah, I should want to do that, but actually I've soul searched and I really don't want to. And you're confronted with these parts of yourself that you can't mask by just doing the thing. And, but you do get so many benefits. And I think that that's what it's taught me too, is that it really is about genuine self compassion overall, because you are going to pull out some boundaries that maybe you wish you didn't have to, or that you thought you were a better person, that you could rise above, or whatever it is. But then ultimately, like, you have to have grace with yourself and you have to understand that you have needs. And and that was one of my things too. Just I've also reflected of like, oh, I'm a lot needier than I thought I was. And at the end of the day, I think I'm okay with that. I
mm,
there's this like little wounded part of me, Ashley, that likes to think I can just do everything all the time and just deliver and be the thing to everybody. But I'll tell you, the last few years of my life have shown me that I absolutely can't, and that I need people. I need support, and being able to, set those boundaries has been life changing, of saying, not only am I going to say no, but I'm not going to feel guilty. I want to do more of that, because that guilt
mm.
can really just like wear us out.
Too. 100%. And who wants to live a life like that? I think that's,
Right.
we could talk about having all this new confidence in who we are too at this phase in life.
Yeah.
So it's like, show that, right? Like, show that you're confident in the decisions you're making and make the right things for yourself. That's something that, like, I really stood out to, is just stand by your gut. It's usually never wrong for you,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
whatever you need to make that decision on and go through.
Yes.
So, what was the hardest boundary we had to set during this past season, you think?
Hardest boundary. I would actually like I'm going to tell you what came up right away was about this
Yeah,
podcast,
I know. Me too, I think.
because I wanted to work on it all the time.
Hmm.
And I had to like figure out how not to. And then I also had to like really support you to say no at times. And you had to support me. And it was really like, I don't know if we really established the best boundary with how we did it, but I think now
Hmm.
moving forward into season 2, we have a better boundary.
I
And like
think
we've
so
been
too.
able to calibrate, which I think has been really meaningful.
Hmm.
But outside of that, I think the boundary with what I need to be successful has been set more with my husband, in terms of I can't be at every pickup. I can't be at every drop
Hmm.
off. I am working and putting in the time, and I can't do it all. So the boundary has been, okay, I can do this, but I can't do that. And it changes all the time in terms of the boundary I have to set, because I was overextending myself a lot and it was really, really wearing me
Hmm.
out. So,
Well, and I feel like that's so hard as a working mother,
yeah.
because it's such a paradigm of be this and this to 100% at all times. You
And
cannot.
you can't do it. And you
You
have to
can't
like
do it.
surrender. Yeah.
Right. You're going to get sick. Like, I feel like we go back to, like, we were talking about when I got strep throat, because I was just go, go, go,
Awful.
go. My body was like, stop, stop, stop. Right. Like,
Mm-hmm.
shutting down. And there's going to be something to sacrifice in the end. And
What,
it's,
yeah. What
yeah.
about you? Was there a boundary that came to mind when you asked that question?
Same was the podcast,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think not in a negative way. I think we talk
No.
about boundaries as like something more like you have to set your foot down on something, but I think it's more just figuring things out and, having like a 50-50 partnership in something where sometimes someone isn't 50-50. It's like, wait, sometimes it's weighted more the other way or the other way, and it
Mm-hmm.
shifts. And I think knowing that that's okay sometimes, and
Right.
knowing when to kind of come back up, and also knowing that, going back to the beginning theme where we put out 52 episodes in a year,
It's
one
amazing.
a week, and didn't miss anything. Like, I think going forward in the next season, we'll talk about that a little later, but we're going to release less episodes, because I think that's something that came out of this
Mm-hmm.
discovery was, I think we're doing too much.
Yes. And I think the biggest thing there too is I think we both want to support each other, and our friendship is bigger than this. And right sizing it to where we are in our lives. But we're going to get there. I'm glad that we both kind of had that same little boundary, and it was a good thing. It's like you only learn it through doing it too.
Totally.
So it's not
Completely
like we
agree.
could have anticipated it, but here we are.
Yes.
And I am very proud of us still.
Same. Well, then let's go to that next key
Oh, this
theme
is a big
here.
one.
I
Yes.
know. Progress over perfection and celebrating the little wins. I think one of my favorite conversations was with Monica Packer about being present is progress.
I know.
That made me really take a step back because I am so not present and it eats at me because I'm thinking of all the million other things I need to do. So this week, especially, we've got children going back to school soon and I have put my phone away. And
I know you have been not on it nearly as much. I can attest to this.
Yes. And which
is not a bad thing. And I'm not mad at you about it at all.
And I have my group text. I'm like, sorry, I don't have my phone. And my friends are like, why? And I was like, because I don't want it. It's distracting me. It is I'm like, I can't do it. But I think that to me, I don't know. I love that. And then just thinking about celebrating the little wins, that is just something that I love about life.
Yeah.
Even just tonight, we're
this is your thing.
Pour our bubbles.
Yes. Get it going.
Let's cheers to us.
Cheers to us. This
little
is about
wins.
Celebrating the little wins. And this is a big win.
Big win.
I could not be. I didn't. First of all, it went fast and it went slow at the same time. Yeah. It's one of those things, but it's we have made progress and we were by far not perfect. There's things that I said that maybe I would not say today.
Totally.
But I think what we did was we went out and we tried and we did the thing, which reminds me also of our first guest, Francesca Thompson, who's get on the bus. It's time to get on the bus. You want to go do the thing? Go do the thing. Start by starting. I loved her whole essence. And she is a wild child. She'll even tell you, but shout out to her because she is about doing the thing and living life to the fullest. And then, Monica balanced us out with a different perspective. And then the other one was Keisha Scott and her whole fuck it mentality. Hey, fuck it. It's, who cares? Do it anyway, no matter what anybody thinks of you. And
cake
it was
for dinner.
Have cake for dinner, So I think all within that, I have really grown to appreciate not being perfect and not striving for that. And I think that's a huge shift for me because I have been a high achieving person and hold myself to a high standard. And I'm it feels good to let my foot off the gas a little.
Yeah. Well, and I think though, too, thinking about how we said we're not perfect in what we've done for the podcast. There's so much that you guys have not even seen. Katrina, my scholar, has figured out everything technical wise around how do we get better social clips and all these things where I'm I don't even know where to look. You know what I mean? Because I just I'll Google it, but it's I don't work that way, my brain.
Right.
But it has been a huge growth, I think, in where we started, you know?
Huge
so
growth.
Thanks
we started,
to you. I feel I have to give you major kudos on that because I was not involved because also, I didn't know what to do.
Well, my husband was also the one editing our audio files to begin with and creating the music and stuff. And big shout out to him. That was
huge
part of us starting. And I want to say the first 40-ish episodes were all his doing, and the quality and the audio was amazing. Yes. It was a lot of work, and it was our relationship became I sent you those episodes, and just having that support. And now we are way more self-sufficient and more efficient, and that's what learning is all about.
Totally.
So I'm really proud of the progress we've made for this as well, and just in our lives in general. But the last one, which is the nervous system regulation, was a consistent theme. So it's this whole fight or flight and how, maybe we're losing our shit with people. Maybe we're not our best selves. We're irritable, da-da-da-da-da. And we started really with Lauren DeSico, Dr. Lauren DeSico, which was all about the nervous system and being, what does regulated even mean?
And we got to try out the stimulator.
Yes.
Which other transforms you. Such a weird experience. But also that whole, I don't even know if we've ever talked about that. I know the whole next week I was
calm.
Felt just down a notch.
I love it. I
was I need to buy this thing.
It really is, I think, effective. But, that was kind of to me, the very sciencey episode. So if you haven't listened to that one and you're really curious about nervous system regulation, I really would say it's a two-parter actually, because there was so much great content there. And then most recently we had, a little bit on burnout, with Ellen Meyer, that was more so
Mm.
about like the manifestation of, what can happen when you're going, and then all of a sudden you just kind of extinguish yourself. And that's what not having a regulated nervous system looks like, right?
Right.
And so I thought that was really interesting too. And I just kind of envisioned us as like these candles that were just kind of smoldering because we're burning too hard and too fast.
Someone needs to relight me. I don't know.
I know. And then most recently, our last episode, I honestly think is one of my favorite episodes to date.
Me too.
And that
Sarah.
was Sarah Hines. Yes.
Amazing. Like one of the biggest standouts to me was just when you go into a situation and you feel you're already anxious to ask
Right.
yourself, is the house on fire or is this just burnt toast?
I love it.
How simple is that? But does it reframe you to be like, yeah, this is just annoying, right? Like
Yes.
there's no real urgency here.
Yes.
It might be smoking a little bit, but we can just like shoo that away.
And be fine.
That
with
was a huge takeaway for me because we need, especially like when we talked about in that episode, the art of slowing down, to be
Right.
present, to all these things like come together, right? Of meeting us in our middle, in our mid third.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or middle third, whatever we're calling it.
Middle third, man. I'm gonna ride
always
this
forget.
middle third until I'm in my last third, which hopefully will be for a long time. But
Long time.
yeah, I think there's so many good things in that episode, particularly. I mean, there was the whole, was it burnt toast or is it your house on fire? And then there was the whole element about not being impressive. I think when we think about perfection and how that showed up again in that episode, not just nervous system regulation, but it was about what motivates us in terms of wanting to be perfect. And it's like this underlying yearning to be liked and to be impressive and to have people compliment us. And I was like, and I just think there's this whole beautiful, I don't know, thread, Ashley, where it's everything we talked about was learning how to deal with what was in front of us and to accept who we are. And to stop being so hard on ourselves. And I don't know, I just feel like that was really, it's in every single episode,
Totally.
Whether it's like
And I
we're not
think-
taking ourselves too seriously, we're doing a fun little episode, but
Right.
I mean, there was some really serious ones as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think to tie it back to Sarah one more time was also, like you just said, like, don't take yourself so seriously. Like, take a minute, but also enjoy the ride and play. Like when she was, you know what I mean? Like that stood out with me so much because there's certain times where I'm with my kids too, and I'm like, I'm going to run through the sprinkler too.
Right.
And like, seriously, it breaks it up. They're like, Mom's cool. And I'm like, yeah, I am.
I went on a
give me
water slide.
Fresca.
I went on a water slide like a week and a half ago, and
right?
I almost peed my pants because that thing did like a corkscrew, and it was dark. It was one of those enclosed ones, and I was like, holy shit, I have not been on one of these forever. And then I was like, but I'm the cool mom that went down the water slide,
But like, right? So like, I think it's right, exactly what you said. They all of our episodes tied together.
Yeah.
This has been our journey, guys. Like, we are so thankful everyone has joined us. And, we're still continuing to grow. And, I think one honest moment, if I can have here too, I think we've had so much enjoyment in this, but also a little disappointment.
Of
if
course.
I can be honest.
Yeah.
I think, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, why aren't my friends liking my stuff?
Yeah. That
Or
was really an aha.
Kinda.
A big aha and a big ouch. And
I
not to
know.
say this isn't a guilt trip.
No.
It was this to say, like, I had no idea, just how hard it was. And there's so much noise out there.
There
right?
is.
And like,
There
we're
is.
trying to carve our little space. And I hope we are something to someone. And I think a perfect little segue is we did hear some really great things from people who listen to us, and so maybe we could share a few of them. If you're cool with that.
I'll start.
Awesome.
All right. First one. I love how they talk about real life issues and strategies for navigating this journey in life as a mom. So relatable, funny, and helpful.
I knew you were going to emphasize funny because you're like, yes, we are.
Duh.
Like we are funnier on some days than others, but I'm glad that people find some humor in the way that we're delivering this because there's a little self-deprecation and there's a little bit of like throwing our hands in the air being like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Right now I'm wearing, athletic shorts with a fancy top. This is real life, guys.
Same.
This is real life. So
Same.
All right, next one up. So I'm a stay-at-home mom of 3. I really needed to hear this. I struggle often with what I need to fill my cup, what it means to have it all and find balance. So looking forward to future episodes. Killing it, ladies. And that one, a stay-at-home mom of 3. And it is so hard. There's this pressure to have it all. And to know that like maybe we took her pot off the kettle a little bit, that's awesome. And I'm
For
so
sure.
glad that it resonated with her.
Completely agree. All right, and one more to round us out. Seriously, so relatable. Love the first episode. I never have my shit together. And the message you are sending is so powerful.
That's success.
Virtual
Ashley.
hug.
I know.
To all our people.
And
Wait,
and
how
just,
do I heart?
I know. What do you do? Like this one? I think, yeah, none of us have our shit together. And that's what this is all about. And as we look forward to season 2, I hope that we continue to dive into what it means about, being in our midlife, but how we get the most out of midlife is really where we'll continue to focus,
Let's talk about thriving, right? Like you said, let's dial up the thrive
and dial down the survive.
Well,
I agree. So we will be switching to a twice-a-month schedule, which will allow us more space to have more intentionality with our topics and our guests and build more content that's more robust, we're hoping, so that you guys keep coming back for more because it's great to talk to you, Ashley. I do think it's therapeutic, but we really care about you guys out there and we want you to get what you need in the precious time that you're giving to listen to our podcast.
Completely agree.
So I guess we could just finish out this little reflect episode. And first of all, say a cheers. Cheers to you, Ashley. Thank you for being an amazing partner. And thank you, listeners, for showing up as your wonderfully imperfect selves with us all season long. And remember, everybody, after every breakdown,
don't forget the bubbles. Cheers. And we do hope to hear from you over at Bubbles and Breakdowns. If you are interested in an episode for us to talk about, send us an email, a DM on Insta, whatever. If there's certain guests you would like to see us showcase or kind of consider, send them our way. Please. We love just having a real conversation with real people about this middle third. And let's thrive, babies.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.